Hey guys, Cheri from the Watering Mouth here with another What I Eat in a Day to Lose Weight videos on the Eat to Live Nutritarian diet, which is what my whole channel is about. High nutrient, whole foods, plant-based yumminess for disease prevention and reversal, longevity, and also pretty awesome weight loss. If any of those things are what you're looking for, you're at the right place. So I'm gonna give you 3 recipes that I would eat in one day in order to be able to lose or maintain a low weight, feel great, have awesome digestion, eat super healthy, high nutrient foods, all that at once. So I promise these meals are not only low calories, they're gonna help you lose weight if you're looking to, or maintain a low weight if you're already at that place, but they also have tons of bulk. 3 recipes. As always, I give a cheat sheet for each video. So you can download the cheat sheet, which has all 3 of these recipes at thewateringmouth.com/cheatsheets. Sign up there, I'll send you a password, and then you can access them anytime you want. You'll be able to access all my previous cheat sheets, all the recipes, tips and tricks and transcripts and everything from videos in the past too. So make sure you sign up for the cheat sheet so you can get those every time. So let's get in the kitchen and let me show you what I'm making. This is my savory Tex-Mex oatmeal recipe. So our first recipe is a savory oatmeal recipe. Now look, I know you guys are used to sweet oatmeal recipes, and it totally makes sense. I was too, but when I started having savory oatmeal, I was just like, my mind was blown, okay? I'm telling you, just give it a try. Just try it, okay? If you don't like it, that's totally cool. I also happen to have another savory recipe in my challenge that's going on right now, the 21-day challenge, and in my oatmeal breakfast boot camp product that's on my website. So if you're interested in that recipe and maybe some more oatmeal recipes, you can get that one. I'm gonna put links for everything down below and in the cheat sheets, okay? Real basic recipe here. We've got broccoli, carrots, and onion, and just a little bit here. We're gonna chop this up, but what I'm gonna do is actually get the vegetable broth boiling first, so that when we're finished chopping all this, we can put the vegetables right in there and get going. Make sure you get a broth that has no oil and no salt in it, or low sodium. Some broths actually put oil in it and you wouldn't expect it, but it's kind of tricky, and you don't want those ones, because really when you cook things down, you just get a bunch of oil left over. It's gross. So I'm gonna start this boiling on my stove. Okay, and then I'm just gonna start chopping these veggies real small. I like these this oatmeal recipe to have really small pieces. It's about 3 or 4 baby carrots. I like the onion pretty well minced in a recipe like this, so I'm gonna give it a good chop. Weird one. I do. Okay, so we have our mixture boiling. We're just gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes. So bring to a boil, and you can either let it boil. I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit to about 6, you know, a little bit over medium, for it to cook for a few minutes, so we can just kind of cook some of these vegetables, get them a little softened, and then we're gonna put our oatmeal in and seasonings. Okay, so these have been cooking for, I don't know, 7-8 minutes. The carrots are starting to soften, which to me is like the perfect time to throw in the oatmeal. So you just got 1/3 of a cup of oatmeal, throw that in, and let that cook. I'm gonna let this cook for, I don't know, about 5 minutes. Let that oatmeal get kind of gummy and softer. If you need more broth, feel free to just add it in as you go, a tablespoon or 2 at a time, and let it cook until that oatmeal is good and soft. Let that cook. Broth, I'm gonna add a little bit more. A reminder that our limit for grains during the day is 1 cup, grains and starchy foods. So you always want to measure that cup after cooking. So just to be safe, I always kind of keep it at 1/3 of a cup per meal if I'm going to be using oatmeal raw. So if I start off with 1/3 of a cup or less of oatmeal when I start out, then I know I'll be within the guidelines, and probably even a little bit less. I'm going to try to keep grains low when I'm in weight loss mode, And I end up having more nuts and seeds, more fat. I find that to be more satiating than grains when I'm in weight loss mode too. So that's just a side note. Okay, I think that's about good. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring it over here. Okay, so we have our oatmeal all cooked here, and it's pretty plain right now. So we're gonna add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. So you always wanna have flaxseed every day. Ground flaxseed, this is an anti-cancer food, super, super great. And you can see a lot of this information in the book, Eat to Live. So if you haven't read that book, check that out. I have a video on flaxseed if you wanna know any more details. I usually keep this ground flaxseed in my fridge ready to go. I grind it about every week or two myself at home because the stuff that's already ground in the stores can go rancid. It's better if you grind your own. So buy whole flax seeds and grind your own. Get a coffee grinder or something like that. So we're gonna throw 1 tablespoon in here just so we get our flax in. And flax is really nice. It gives it a nice nutty flavor, so that's delicious. Then we've got 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is one of our favorite foods. Well, one of my favorite foods on the Nutritarian lifestyle. This brand is unfortified. I've got links for all the brands of everything that I like in the cheat sheets and in the description of this video. We use nutritional yeast. If you haven't used it before, it's not like regular yeast. It's a deactivated form of yeast, and it gives it a nice cheesy flavor. Just trust me, give it a try. It is one of my favorite things, especially if you're vegan. It's a great way to get that cheesy flavor in your life still. And then we're just gonna mix this in. Oh, I can smell it. It smells so good. Oh, it smells so cheesy. Yum. Okay, so to serve, I'm gonna add a little bit more broth because I'm not as thick as this. So this goes to show you that this recipe is really forgiving. All savory recipes really are super forgiving with quantities of anything, so don't get stressed out about that. Just use your best judgment when you're cooking, and if something seems like, uh-oh, it's too thick or whatever, you know, experiment with it. This is how we're gonna top it. Some avocado and salsa. Now, avocado is a great source of fat for us, but we want to make sure that we don't eat too much of it, so we try to keep it to about a quarter of an avocado per day if you can. And if you're really in weight loss mode, you are looking to pare down a little bit. I tend to not eat avocado when I'm trying to lose weight, but I set this day's recipes up so that you could easily still have some, and it'll be amazing. Okay, and then we add about okay, now 3 tablespoons of salsa. This is my favorite brand of salsa. It's the only one that I can find that is somewhat decent on sodium, Green Mountain Gringo. This one has 80 milligrams of sodium per serving. So it's pretty decent as far as salsa goes, and if you can find something that's similar to that, then you're good. Now the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of salsa, but you use as much as you want. This is just for the video's sake, but this avocado is completely not ripe, so I'm not gonna actually eat it, but it looks good, right? Here is our savory oatmeal recipe. Let's have some of it. You guys. Oh yeah. Okay. The oatmeal recipe itself is super awesome. It's really, really good. It's like just savory oatmeal. But when you get a bite of that salsa in there, gives you a little bit of sodium, but also the natural umami that you get from the tomatoes anyways. Super delicious. And I would imagine that if you had a really nice ripe avocado, this would be delicious too. Okay, savory oatmeal, that's your breakfast. Let's have lunch. This is the blue jalapeno slaw. Okay, lunchtime is here and we are ready to make our jalapeno slaw. This is gonna be super awesome, and for those of you who are afraid of spice or you don't really like spice, you can easily substitute the jalapenos for something like green bell pepper or poblano pepper or something that really is mild, okay? So no problem there. That's totally fine. So we're first gonna start with the dressing, and I wanna show you basically what you do with a dressing generally. if you're making a nut-based dressing, which is what we usually make our dressings out of, is we take the amount of nuts that we're going to use. So in this case, we're using cashews, which is a really nice creamy base. What you're going to do is actually soak the nuts overnight, which I have clearly not done, but I'm just going to show you what that's like. Put them in, you're actually going to want to put more water than this, probably double the amount of water that there are cashews, and then just put them in the fridge, or you can even leave them out on the countertop overnight to let them soak. And they're going to like double in size. They're going to soak up a lot of that water and become a lot softer. This is pretty much a necessary step if you have a regular blender, because you're not going to really get it creamy at all. It's going to be kind of chalky and not so great if you're using a regular blender. I highly recommend you invest in a Vitamix, in a high-speed blender, any kind of high-speed blender, but I recommend the Vitamix. It's the one I use. I think it's the best. If you don't soak the nuts before, it's gonna be a lot better than if you used a regular blender. Everything's gonna be better overall if you soak them, just from creaminess perspective. I haven't soaked my nuts. It's not really gonna be that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna proceed as if these were already soaked, okay? So throw 1 cup of soaked nuts into the blender, a half a cup of water, so not spill it everywhere. 1 lemon juiced. Alternatively, just put the whole lemon in if after you've peeled it. That would be fine as well. You get the fiber as well. 1 clove of garlic. So I bought fresh cloves that were already peeled from Trader Joe's in little packages, and I just freeze them and I take one out when I need it. So there's 1 tablespoon brown mustard, but you can really use any kind of mustard that you like. And this is spicy brown mustard, so you definitely don't have to go with spicy on top of the jalapeno. You can just get regular mustard, or like a Dijon mustard or something like that. But I like spice, so let's do it. Okay, and now we're gonna put miso in. So what is miso? Miso is something that we use very sparingly on the Nutritarian diet. It is fermented soybean paste. It sounds weird, but it is super delicious, and the reason it's super delicious is because it's tons of salt, tons of sodium. So we use it very sparingly. We're just going to be using 1 teaspoon. When you look for miso at the store, now first of all, miso isn't super necessary for the recipe. It gives it a really good flavor, but you could just use a little bit of salt, or you could leave the salt out completely as well. When you're looking at miso in the store, try to get something that's like mellow white or mellow yellow, or like a yellow kind. Usually they'll have less sodium than the red or the, I forget what the other one is. And this one happens to have just less sodium anyway. So we can find this one. This is the best one I've ever seen. It's 140 milligrams per serving, which is 1 teaspoon. So it's a really good amount. Typically with miso, you'd find 400, 500, 600 grams of sodium per teaspoon. So this is a good one. I found this at Whole Foods. And to the dressing, we're also going to add some Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash is, oh my gosh, one of the best products in the world. I used to think of it like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Dash, like only weird people who don't like salt eat that, right? But now that my taste buds are adjusted to the natural flavors of foods, Mrs. Dash is like, and there's so many different kinds of flavors nowadays. You can use whatever flavor you want in this one, but I'm gonna use the Southwest Chipotle one. I'm gonna link to these in the cheat sheets and down below in the description, so you can get some different ones if you want and experiment with them. This is one of my favorites. The tomato basil garlic is my other favorite. The Fiesta lime is really yummy. There's an extra spicy, etc. There's so many really good ones that you can try. Fantastic flavor in your food. Half a teaspoon or so. The spices are always the thing that you can add a lot more of if you want, especially if they're no sodium. And that is why you want a high-speed blender. So the recipe calls for a pound of coleslaw mix, and I could only find a 12-ounce bag, but I had some extra cabbage at home, so I'm just gonna slice a little extra to put into the salad along with this coleslaw mix. So coleslaw mix is just green cabbage, red cabbage, and carrots. And so if you can't find an actual coleslaw mix where you live, just get those 3 things and slice them up. When you get a cabbage, all you do is just take off the outer leaves like this and discard those, and then you can just start chopping right away. Cabbage is funny because it expands as you chop it, so chop it real thin. could also use a mandolin slicer for this, and I have chosen not to. And see, it creates a lot more volume once you kind of opened it up and chopped it. So add that. We'll add maybe a little bit more too. Okay, so this recipe is going to give you 4 servings of dressing and 2 servings of salad here. So you're going for a pound of salad. That's going to be 2 servings, all right? And you'll have some leftover dressing, so you can make some more salad later. But if you make this ahead of time, if you make the salad part ahead of time, it's going to last for 2, 3, even 4 days. So you could technically make double the salad part and have it for 4 days straight, and it would last totally fine, okay? So this is 2 servings here. So we got our coleslaw mix. We're also going to do a little bit of chopped red onion, so a third of a cup, and I just eyeball that. Oh yeah, right on the money. For the Caesar salad. Jalapeno. This is where you want to be a little bit careful. If this is a really hot jalapeno, but you don't really know, if it's really, really hot, you can get a little bit of issues with your fingers. So sometimes you might want to wear gloves. I've had a bad experience with jalapenos before, where it kind of got a little bit burnt. But as long as you don't handle the seeds very much and you just throw away the inside, you're probably going to be fine. And the thing is too, like jalapenos that are fresh, sometimes they're not hot at all, like not even a little bit. And then sometimes they're like crazy hot. This one is just mildly spicy, so no big deal. But if you get a crazy hot one, that's when you can get in a little bit of trouble with your fingers. But this one is super mild. Typically the pickled jalapenos that you'll get, those are way hotter than anything you'll have fresh. So give it a try, because oftentimes you'll be surprised at how not spicy a jalapeno actually is. And then sometimes you get the bad ones. And the bigger jalapenos are not as spicy as the smaller ones, so keep that in mind. I picked out some big ones on purpose. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. So and here's the thing, is like, you're gonna put as much jalapeno in as you can stand heat, right? So I can actually stand another jalapeno, so I'm gonna put another guy in here. But I'm gonna test how spicy he is first. And that one's not spicy at all. So I'm definitely gonna put both of these in here. But I'm not gonna put these seeds in. So we are finished with our salad now. Chopping everything and mixing it together. You can, oh no, dumped a bunch all over the floor. You can chop this up a little bit more if you like from what they have in the package. This is actually a little bit bigger than I prefer eating. And then sometimes you get pieces like this, which are not worked or part of the stem, and you just get rid of that. So you got your salad all incorporated. Now I am going to chop this a little bit extra. Not too big. And so you could easily use the OXO salad slicer salad bowl that I have linked as well. That would be great for chopping up the salad even more. Now, the exciting ingredient, which you would never expect, but it is blueberries. What? Yeah, dump them all in there. And it is just such a wonderful, having that little pop of sweetness is so weird and awesome. It just complements those jalapenos perfectly. It's the strangest thing, but just trust me. Okay, I'm gonna put some dressing in. I ended up adding some more water to the dressing so it would blend better. So feel free to get it as creamy or liquidy as you need. And I just did that so I could pour it a little easier and blend it easier too. So if you were having this for lunch, you would want to measure this, of course, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm doing fast. So I would put half the dressing in to blend into this sort of coleslaw-y yumminess. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, here it is. Yum. I'm gonna make sure I get a blueberry in there. I got a blueberry for a daughter. Okay. Yeah. This one is so good. You know what else would be really good in here? Apples. Chopped apples. But we're gonna save that for another day. Okay, lunch is served. Let's have dinner. This is the sweet berry smoothie. Okay, it's dinner time, and this is my favorite thing to do for dinner, is have a smoothie. That's what we're doing today. And I often will do smoothies for dinner because I can't be bothered to make a third meal for the day, especially after I've made 3 meals for my daughter as well that are usually different than what I'm having. So I'll just do a smoothie because meh, okay? Smoothies are so awesome because you can get in a lot of greens. That's why I like to do them for breakfast and then dinner sometimes, or I'll make a big huge smoothie for breakfast, save the rest for dinner, and then 2 meals are taken care of without having to think about it. But today, since we did our oatmeal for breakfast, we're gonna have a little smoothie for dinner. I wanna say something about this idea of dinner in general on the Nutritarian diet, okay? If we find that we had that oatmeal for breakfast and then we had the jalapeno salad, the blue jalapeno slaw for lunch, and that really filled us up. We get to like 7, 8 p.m. and we're not even really that hungry yet. Don't eat, just skip dinner. It's totally okay to skip dinner sometimes. You don't want to do it all the time necessarily, unless you're intermittent fasting in general, where you get 2 huge meals, say at 10 a.m. and then 4 p.m. or something like that. If you're intermittent fasting, you can always skip dinner, or your dinner would be just a little bit earlier and larger and mixed with lunch, kind of, right? This idea. But so if you're doing intermittent fasting, totally skip dinner all the time if you want. But if you do like 3 meals a day, kind of relatively smaller meals, and then you find that you're just not hungry at dinner sometimes, skip dinner. And the entire Nutritarian diet is based on moderate caloric restriction. So over our lifetimes, having a little bit less calories than we need, being best for longevity, being best for us. That the difference between having 50 extra calories per day for the rest of our life would be grossly obese, overweight, heart attacks, all these kinds of things. But 50 less calories per day would lead to a lean, you know, super healthful body that's set up for longevity, because what the body will do is it will automatically regulate the metabolism to slow down enough to live on less calories, on just a little bit less calories. And that's actually really good for our body. If you think of our metabolism like a car, if you're always revving the engine, right? If you're always having a fast metabolism, the parts are gonna wear out faster. And it's kind of like the way the body works too. The body has to work a lot harder to process food and is always doing food-related things. It doesn't have as much time for detox. It doesn't just basically live as long as it could unless it had that moderate caloric restriction. Anyways, this is what the Nutritarian diet is based on. You can read a lot more about this in the book Eat to Live or any of his other books, and that's what we're kind of shooting for here, is just to have a little bit less calories than we necessarily need so that we can get to that lean body weight. And the way that we do that and stay satisfied at the same time is by having a ton of bulk. So we eat a lot of bulk, we eat a lot of fiber, we eat a lot of low calorie, high nutrient foods. It's what the whole thing is based on, and that keeps our calories low but keeps us totally full and satisfied, and we're not starving. Just because we're having 50 less calories per day doesn't mean we're starving. It means that we're just having less, but we're still full. And the way that we do that is by having those big bulky meals. So if you find that you've had 2 massive bulky meals, or you know, you're just not hungry for dinner, feel free to skip dinner. You don't have to eat dinner, but in the case that you want something quick and you don't want to have to bother, this smoothie is going to be perfect. Okay, so the sweet berry smoothie. This is very typical of the type of smoothies that I make. I start off with 1 cup of non-dairy milk usually. You don't have to do this, but I really like to because I just like that that extra creaminess. I keep my dates in the freezer nowadays because I don't use them very much. And even if you have your dates in the freezer, or if you have them out or whatever, I always soften them a little bit before I blend them nowadays, just because I want them to be really, really creamy and mixed up in there, so all the sweetness is distributed. We're gonna use one date. This is a medjool date. All I do is put it in about a teaspoon of water. I microwave it for 20 seconds, and then I remove the pit, and I'll put the date water in there too, because it's nice and sweet and yummy. You can also soak your dates in water. You could just leave them in the fridge soaking in water the whole time if you wanted. And that's how I used to keep my dates soft as well. So I just cut out the pit, put it in there. And you want to definitely do the microwaving or soaking step if you have a regular blender too. If you have a high-speed blender like a Vitamix, it's not that critical, but I still like to do it. So 1 cup of milk, 1 medjool date, 1 small heart of romaine lettuce. You can use any kind of mild lettuce that you like. About 3-4 ounces is probably about right. I don't even actually chop them. And then a little bit of cruciferous. You always want to have something cruciferous in your smoothies if you can, something raw, because it's so easy to get that way. Just blend it in, and you barely even taste it. I don't even taste it. So I'm just going to put a little cabbage in, but anything cruciferous would work, like kale or anything else. And cruciferous greens are the best cancer fighters in the vegetable world. So we want to make sure that we have something cruciferous and raw every single day. And I just find this is the best way to do it. Okay, so I always blend my greens first. Then I'm going to put in an overripe banana, and I would use a frozen one, but I really want to use up the ones that we have here because I don't have any room in my freezer. That's why. But you would want to use probably a frozen one because it would be nice and cool. Then we put in 1 cup of organic mixed berries and a cup of sweet cherries. And then we also add a tablespoon of nut butter, unsalted raw nut butter. This is almond butter. I'm going to use half a teaspoon of this vanilla bean powder from Kiva. I'm going to put a link to this and all the other things that I used in this video in the cheat sheets and in the description below. This is just actual vanilla beans ground up. You can also use vanilla extract if you like, but try not to use the one with alcohol in it. Like so, half a teaspoon in there. Then you just put in water to get it to the consistency that you like. I typically will put enough water up to the level of the fruit, and that's usually the right amount. And blend. Okay, we are done. Dinner is served. Cheers. Dessert for dinner. I love to have smoothies for dinner because it's kind of like that old thing you used to do when you ate standard American diet, having breakfast for dinner, you know, eggs and toast and bacon and things like that, which is super wonderful. Well, it used to be super wonderful, but it's also super wonderful to have dessert for dinner. It's one of my favorite things. Have some banana ice cream or have a smoothie like this. Know that you're taking care of yourself and still having basically dessert for dinner. I mean, you can't go wrong. This smoothie makes a lot. This is probably way too much for dinner. So eat what you can for dinner. Save the rest for breakfast. No big deal. Or save it for like a sweet tooth buster the next day. Something like that, okay? So enjoy dinner. How perfect is this? My daughter just woke up. I just finished all the recipes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, I hope you really like the meals from today. I think they were freaking delicious, and I would be surprised if you can eat them all. Good luck. But you don't have to worry, because whatever you can eat, you are most likely still gonna lose weight on, because the amount of nuts and seeds and avocado, dried fruit, and grains is all within limits, not even close to the thresholds to put you over, so you should be fine. Just keep in mind, if you have any trouble losing weight with meals like this, check out my video on 4 reasons why you may not be losing weight. I'm gonna link to that above and in the description as well, so you can watch that one if you want. That gives some really good indication of what you might be going wrong with for the weight loss part. But this set of meals that we just had is the set of meals that will help you lose weight and make you feel super full. You just want to start to get to the place where you are understanding when you're full and when you've just had enough. There's a difference also, a very subtle difference between having actually had enough for calories and what your body needs and being sick of eating the meal, right? There's a very fine line there. And so that's the kind of place that you want to get to, understanding really the difference between those two things. And once you get more and more used to having these kinds of meals, you will be so good at understanding that and knowing exactly how much you need, of what quantities, so that you can lose weight and all that too, sort of creating your own protocol. Keep in mind that this set of meals is exactly like the same type of meals that we have on my 21-day challenges. So if you want to join in on one of my 21-day challenges, for 21 days, get a bunch of meals like this that are going to be satiating, taste awesome, you know, keep you full and help you lose weight, join in on one of the challenges, because you get also all the community support, hundreds of people doing these challenges all at the same time, supporting each other, posting about it, all that. It's really, really fun, great community activity that you can really up your Nutritarian game by doing. So sign up at thewateringmouth.com/challenge for the next one. It'll be coming up really soon. We'd love to see you in there. If you haven't joined in on one already, we have people that have done all 3 of them in a row. Come and join the 4th one or the next one, whenever you're seeing this video. Join in and I will give you all the information. Sign up there. Okay, so I hope you like this one. Sign up for the cheat sheet to make sure you can get the recipes for this video, wateringmouth.com/cheatsheets. Also, check me out on Patreon as well, patreon.com/thewateringmouth. This is the place where you can check out some extra additional coaching and information that I give that I don't give to anyone else. It's super exclusive. I also have a group coaching level there, all right? Group coach and help people understand all these concepts way more in depth. So if you want to get in on any of that, check it out. As I said, patreon.com/thewateringmouth. It'll support me and help me make more of these videos for you if you really like them, okay? Make sure you subscribe. Comment down below which recipe looks the best to you. If you've tried one, let me know which one you love, and I hope that you love them. Get the cheat sheets. See you in the next video. Love you so much. Goodbye.